Welcome back to Sahara TV. This is the second part of our Skype segment when we take your calls and feedbacks on what we've been discussing today. But this is a special one because we are about to discuss the trip made by the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Mr. Omoyele Sowore. He made a trip to West Africa and he was in Nigeria when Sanusi was suspended, and Sanusi came down to Nigeria and he captured the arrival as well as an exclusive interview, which has gathered over 100,000 viewers online. I know that many of you have questions about the trip. I get calls from people send me emails, was it real? All those questions we are going to have them answered by the publisher of Sahara Reporters who made that trip. He's here with me, Omoyele Sowore. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you, Rudolf.
So, I know that we have a lot of people on Skype and they will all join us, but let me ask you first, what has been the reaction since you came back? I mean, what do you think about how people were reacting to the videos and the trip as a whole?
I think people were really worried that maybe I didn't make it out safe, and so this is my first time after that interview with you last week, and also after interviewing Sanusi, you know, in blood and flesh. So I'm back out here, and it was a very interesting experience. I usually would travel in Nigeria on the ground completely without anybody knowing, but this case, I had to come out of my underground cage and do something that, like I said, I always love to do, which is capture rare moments. And sometimes these things just completely happen by accident. Just like it happened when I had to interview Benga Obasanjo, who I met accidentally at the border in Seme, Benin Republic. And this time is Sanusi arriving back from Niamey after he'd been suspended. And that was the first person to capture, as you saw in that video, his arrival at the airport, and the fact that the state security services had held him up and his family on the tarmac, waiting for their director to take him to their office. And here we are with our camera capturing that moment and meeting him for the first time. And then the SSS let him go, and surprisingly let me go. So I'm back, and I totally think it was an interesting moment, not only in the history of Nigeria, because Nigeria's history is a very interesting one, as you know. It keeps going. It's a movie that doesn't end. But it happened on a day that I had spoken to journalists across the country, especially in the Southwest, the Lagos-Ibadan axis media, about the changing face of the media, that the media is no longer about the big professionals, you know. It's no longer about ethics. It's about who gets the news first. And sometimes the citizens are the most best place to bring news to people who need it. Now, when people get news, you know, the loyalty of an average person who wants news goes to the source of news, especially where they get it all the time and where they get it right.
Now, people used to say to me that, oh, Sahara Reporters is not on the ground, that Sahara Reporters is just in New York, and how can you stay in New York to report Nigeria? Now, the fact that I know that there are reporters and correspondents all over Nigeria, but also the fact that you went down to Nigeria and they now know that you were there, that should end that question. Now, let's go to people who are on Skype and get their questions, because it's not for me. This is not for me to answer.
But let me just quickly say also that we've always claimed and said, and it's there in our mission and vision, a mission statement, that every citizen can report for us. That's why we have the tagline, report yourself. And in my own case, I would have felt really bad as a chief, citizen journalist here at Sahara Reporters to find the most interesting day in the life of Nigeria that week or that month or this year and just completely ignore it and hunker down somewhere and refuse to go out. So I was, willing to risk it. Same way people who make this possible for us to do what we do, do so every day. So it was just to honor all the citizen reporters that wherever you may find yourself, you report you are the journalist.
All right, so let's go to the Skype callers, and if I call your name and you're still with us, let me know. Yemi in Canada. Yemi, welcome to Sahara TV.
Mohammed?
Yemi, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Yemi, can you hear me?
Oh, Yemi is here.
Okay, good. Olufemi, are you there?
Yes.
Ejike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Colin Joe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Very good. Michael in India, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Ibi, are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Goje?
Hansen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Goje, is that the name? Am I getting it right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Goje, where are you?
I'm in Malaysia.
Malaysia, okay. Is there anybody on the line that did not call?
I think Odebode was trying to join us. I don't know what
Odebode. All right, we will get more people to join, and also where you can call us on the phone. They will show the phone number if you want to talk to Sowore here about his trip to Nigeria. So this segment is just about the trip. So I will start with you, Yemi. Do you have any question for Sowore?
Sowore, in Southwest, how's the security situation in Southwest, generally?
There's nowhere in Nigeria that security is okay. By the way, for those of you who might be worried about the fact that my sweater is not ironed, it's because there was no electricity in Nigeria and I haven't had a chance to iron my clothes since I came back. But it's not different. But I think what I saw generally, to be honest with you, is that people who have not been directly affected by the rot in government are in total state of denial. So when they hear about attacks, kidnapping, armed robbery, they just say, well, you know, as long as it hasn't happened in my neighborhood, it's not going to happen. But what I didn't see security in the sense of security anywhere I went while I was in the Southwest. And I traveled a little bit. I was in Ondo State, my hometown. And maybe throughout about 6 hours of travel, we saw 2 checkpoints manned by soldiers. There are no more police checkpoints in Nigeria. But those were not enough, in my view, to checkmate any major attack on anybody.
All right, Olufemi, you have any question for him?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to congratulate you, Mr. Sowore. I think my question would be a little bit.
Okay, someone has a live stream up. Please, can you turn it down? You can watch this later on when we post it on YouTube.
I don't know.
Go ahead,
So,
Olufemi.
like I was saying, I wanted to ask you, what is the driving force behind what you are doing? What, like, that wants to make you do it every day and you continue to do it every day?
Well, it's very simple. I have a background and history in activism. I was a student activist in the late 80s. In 1989, I was a freshman at University of Lagos and cut my teeth with likes of Femi Falana, Bamidele Aturu, and NANS, that is National Association of Nigerian Students, when it was NANS, not the NANS of Solidarity Visit and corrupt individuals today. So we had always wanted Nigeria to be this very great country, and it's still the reason why I feel like we have to fight. I think, in my view, and I'm not afraid to say it, we need a revolution that hasn't happened, and whatever we can do to make it happen. I don't want to psychoanalyze by saying what I do fail or succeed, but some people need to be taught a lesson that we need freedom. And the freedom that Nigerians need now cannot be delivered by the pseudo-democracy in place. It cannot be delivered by any kind of transformation or reform. It can only be delivered by total shake-up of the system, and only when the citizens reject totally and abandon the way of doing business or the government of the day, or all kinds of deceit and lies about how we are being governed, then can Nigeria take its rightful place among the Committee of Nations? I get angry when I travel through countries like Ghana, Togo, Benin Republic, and they have constant electricity. And you get to Nigeria and it's complete darkness. And you know why? It's because some bastards, sometimes less than 10 people, will steal $20 billion, $50 billion, and the same amount of money that China used in creating a railway system that is regarded as the best in the world today. So that's the driving force. I just hope and want that country to be a better country. And sometimes people say, you know, what if you break Nigeria into smaller pieces? My thing to everybody is that if Nigeria is broken into 10 pieces, every part of Nigeria will train its own bastards that ruins Nigeria today. So it's not going to be a solution, because the Niger Delta will have the likes of Asare Dokubo. And I don't know if any one of you want to live in a country that is governed by buffoons like that.
All right, Ejike, you have any question for Sowore here?
My question is very simple. Although I'm in Nigeria, you just come visit and go. Those things we see every day. Like, how can you, what I want to, how long did you stay in Lagos? And what can you say about the Fashola government in Lagos?
I stayed most of the time in Lagos. Fashola is good when you compare him to the rest of it, but to the rest of the country. But if you compare Fashola with real governance, if the real government indices are put together, if Fashola were to be judged with the governor of a Ghanaian state or even a Niger Republic state, Fashola will be a failure, because Fashola is more hype than action. You know, they divided Lagos into two cities. You know, the rich people, they keep, you know, sweeping their streets and then planting flowers along the road. And then the poor people, you know, most times live underwater. They have no electricity, they have no roads, they have no water. So I've met Fashola before at the London School of Economics and confronted him with this, and he was very angry. He's a very arrogant human being. He doesn't believe that anybody should challenge him. You must have watched a video of him today threatening a community of people that he was trying to force to give up their land to build a refinery. So in the land of the blind, the one-eyed Fashola is a king.
All right, Colin Joe in Canada, what question do you have for Sowore?
Yeah. So the question I have is, before the previous Skype session, Rudolf promised we're going to talk about solutions. And you mentioned one good solution, which is the revolution. Do you actually see the people in Nigeria, are they ready for something like that? That's the first question. The second one is, this guy, what do they call him, Rudolf Okonkwo, is he actually doing what people actually say he's doing? Like, because I heard he's doing a good job.
I will answer the last question first. The likes of Rochas or Okorocha are not different from the likes of Fashola, who know to do a little bit and, you know, fill the gap with propaganda. So I've seen Rocha Okorocha teaching a class, for example, and it looks good that the governor walks into a class and he puts his hand in the pocket and gives students bursary. But there's nowhere in the world that governors keep their hand in their pocket and give cash to people. How do you account for those kind of cash? It has to be structured. But Nigerians are used to those kind of like acting, you know. An average Nigerian governor is actually, that is fairly good, is referred to as an action governor, because they know how to do the Nollywood movies very well. They know how to act and play the role of action governors. But the question I'm asking is that, do majority of people in Imo State have water? You know, such that if you turn on the water in your bathroom, you don't have to use a borehole. The question is most likely no. Do people have electricity in Imo? No. But do Rochas or Okorocha know how to sweep the streets clean in Imo? Maybe yes. I didn't go to Imo State. But what I've seen generally in Nigeria, and I align with what the governor of Borno State said when he went to see Jonah. They said all of them have failed. All of these guys have failed. But as the Yoruba says, he said, there's a bird in Yoruba land that they call Akparo. That's the bird that Dick Cheney shot somebody. They was trying to shoot somebody, and I forgot the name of the bird in English. You know, there's a Yoruba saying that all of these birds are of the same height, but the ones that climbs on a hip is usually taller. So the Rochas or Okorochas of Nigeria, the Fasholas are the Akparos that climbs on a hip. So they look taller. But if you want to judge them by governance standards, I doubt if any one of them can pass. And that is why I am in favor of a revolution, because these are the kind of distractions that Nigerians are going through today that doesn't make them understand that they deserve better than they are getting. So you look at Rudolf Okonkwo, Oshomole does it too in Edo State. Once in a while, when he doesn't take his drugs, he start walking around on the streets and, dashing money to people selling bread and akara, slaps a woman and then he apologizes the next day. All of that is acting, for example, one of the ways I judge Nigerian leaders is that on a Saturday, still the last Saturday of the month, Lagos still does what they call environmental sanitation. It's idiotic to hold people at home to clean their own environment, knowing that 2 hours or even an hour after the environmental sanitation is done, all of the debris, it falls back into the drainage because nobody picks them up. So it's not the job of people to be held at home to do environment. It's the job of government to actually clean the streets and make people perhaps pay taxes for them. So, but that shows you that governance hasn't been innovative in Nigeria. And, but of course, there are actors within the political system, and you can name all of them, Rochas, Okorosha, they have different ways of acting. And then, you add that with propaganda, newspaper editors who go on these huge journeys to inspect projects, and come and give you some very flowery pages of newspaper that they say the governor has done. Then you get an impression that something is happening, but that's not how to judge governance.
All right. Michael in India, what question do you have?
So I read one of your report that you were in Zhuhai, and you wrote about the pathetic state of the toilet. I want to ask if you ever have the opportunity to go to Ife, because that's one of the self-acclaimed universities, best university in Nigeria. Because I was there. If you were there, I want you to tell us how the situation is in the academia generally.
Okay, Michael, I think your live stream is on, or someone else, but I think
I had the question. I didn't go to UI.
Yeah,
it was a student of UI that went back to his hostel and took the pictures. And like our platform supports citizens to do those kind of reporting. We're actually planning a project where students across Nigerian universities and institutions can submit photos of the conditions of learning, classrooms and hostels. Because now that the government has given them this huge amount of money, we want to follow the money. I have no doubt that the universities are horrible, and I've not heard of any university that is kosher, as they say.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what's happening at the private universities,
yes,
where they pay millions. But anyway, Hansen, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what question do you have for Sowore?
I have a lot of questions to ask, but I would like to ask two.
Okay.
Okay, but I want you to be sincere. Okay. First question is, you said that you went to Southwest. Why you did not go to Southeast? If you did not go to Southeast, why? Second question is, I want to know, be sincere to me, who is the true sponsor of Sahara Reporters?
Well, thank you. I will answer your first question. Actually, I traveled to different parts of Nigeria underground. You probably saw 2 years ago, I was in Onitsha, in the middle of the night, and there was a video of a traffic jam caused by a government commissioner. There was a traffic jam, and the commissioner came and compounded it. So this was like in the middle of the night in Onitsha. And we busted the myth through that video of Peter Obi claiming that he has transformed the whole of Anambra State. I saw in Onitsha one of the dirtiest cities, in the world, and then this traffic jam, and the fact that there was total lawlessness in Onitsha. So I've been to the Southeast. Nobody can accuse me of that. The second part of your question is, who is the true sponsor of SaharaReporters? It's public information that we have various means of getting funding. We have advertisement on the website through Google AdSense, principally. We've received foundation funding, principally from Ford Foundation and the foundation known as Omidia. And we receive direct advertising from companies in Nigeria. We do not advertise government. We do not advertise people selling tobacco, oil companies, just to make sure that we keep it as clean as possible. So these are various means of getting resources. But everybody who's working here is making a sacrifice. We started SaharaReporters paying $50 to buy servers. To pay for servers on a monthly basis. But if your question is, all of that propaganda online that SaharaReporters is somehow aligned with, political organizations, is of course a lie. Those are the kind of things that the Reno Mercuries cook up every day and put online. And some of you, unfortunately, believe them. But you look at our history, we are older than most of the political parties in Nigeria today. APC is like 2 years old. But don't forget when President Jonathan was vice president and he was facing a cabal led by Yar'Adua's wife. We fought so much for him. They accused us of being sponsored by Jonathan. Never met Jonathan before, but we believe in justice and that he deserved to be vice president. And when he became vice president, we made it clear that our loyalty is to the Nigerian people, that we will hold his feet to fire to deliver on the promises of coming to power. You and I today must agree that President Jonathan has failed completely to deliver on his promises, those he made freely and voluntarily. And the job of SaharaReporters, driven by citizens as the engine room of SaharaReporters, is that we must continue to hold officials to feet to fire. And we get some of the best scoops. We write some of the best investigative journalism work, better than most Nigerian media. In fact, Nigerian media rely on us. They steal our stories. And sometimes, or most times, don't give us credit for them. And as you know, recently, a report about the BMW led to the firing of one of the most powerful ministers. I cannot tell you how many things we've done to keep Nigeria leaders on their feet. And even Jonathan has admitted that he gets his news from SaharaReporters. When his brother died, he said he found out on Sahara. That means all of these guys rely on us. But because we have been impossible to buy, impossible to conquer, they now sponsor all kinds of attacks and propaganda on us or against us. And some of them are repeated by some people who don't understand that we are in this to make the country a better place or to make Africa a better place. But we accept it. We accept that when you're doing the kind of work we do, you must come under intense attack from people who are not directly who had wished that we were working for them, but who refused to work for them. You will find on our website, on TV and the radio, equal amount of work that we've done against and for the government in power. But the preponderance for us is to do more on the people that have the greater responsibility to deliver, and that's the federal government. The federal government of Nigeria has more, budget. They have more money to deliver, and they steal more money. So instead of chasing after rats, sometimes we prefer to chase the elephants.
That's a good answer. Gojo in Malaysia, what question do you have?
It's Goje, not Gojo.
Okay, Goje, what question do you have?
Mohammed Goje.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Omisore.
I'm not Omisore. Omisore is the guy who was accused of killing Bola.
It's Sowore.
Sowore is my name.
Omisore, okay. I'm a northerner. Maybe I will not pronounce well.
Okay, then you pardon me for not pronouncing yours well.
It's allowed.
But
your platform has been a source of inspiration to us, many northerners, and even though with some shortcomings, but it has been doing well to us. And even though I know maybe you have not been to the part of the north, and my hometown in particular, Bunyadi, during your visit.
We are going to put it down for next visit.
Yes, it's just make sure that they have the good fura, the nunu for me when I arrive.
You have not been to that part of the country. My question goes like this: do you really think the president really knows what really happens in Northeast? Is he misinformed? Or is it that he doesn't care? Because
well, I want also try and get to as many people as possible, Goje. And I want to correct a quick impression that I've not been to your part of it. I actually did my youth service in Yola, Adamawa State. So you can, I even understand a little bit of Hausa Kadakadan, yeah?
Great.
So I understand. So I did myself. I know I've been to every part of Nigeria. Nobody can tell me the story of Nigeria. And sometimes that's why you see, personally, I'm angry when people accuse Northerners of cornering power. You know, there's no power. In fact, the Northerners, I think, have been at the disadvantage of their leaders being in power. They have been abused by their own leaders. The same way Southerners have been abused. The same way Southeasterners have been abused. The same way Southerners have been abused. Talking about Jonathan and not knowing about what's happening. Jonathan, I agree, is simply clueless. He doesn't know what is happening in the Southeast. You know, he doesn't know what's happening in the South. He doesn't know what is happening in the Southwest. The man is in power for the sake of the trappings of power. You know, and that's what he's there for. You know, I think the happiest moment Jonathan has is to get in this presidential jet and just travel and enjoy himself. And like somebody rightly said, if somebody comes to you next time preaching that he grew up without shoes, just contribute money and buy him enough shoes and let him live and not run a country. Jonathan is incapable of running a country as complex as Nigeria, or even a country that is not as complex as Nigeria. He has not been a good president to any part of Nigeria. But of course, a lot of people believe that because he comes from their own part of the country, they owe him some kind of loyalty. They have been misled, misadvised, and misconscientized, if there's a word like that, to feel like if someone comes from your own part of the country or is a man of your religion or belief, he can do better for you. I am I'm a Yoruba speaking person from Ijo, in Ondo State, Ijo land. I come from a part known as Ijo Apoy. So, you know, naturally I'm supposed to be Jonathan's townsman. But I have just come back from home and I'm telling you that Jonathan hasn't done anything for Ijo people. He may have done something for the likes of Asari Dokubo and the militants, who are his friends. Tell me the highway he built, you know, in Ijo land today. No. Tell me the electricity he brought to Ijo. Tell me the water system that Jonathan brought to Ijo land. None. You know, even in places like Port Harcourt, because he was fighting with the governor there, they refused to, allow the governor to get some loans for water projects. That's the kind of person Jonathan is. So it's not a Northeast issue. The reason why you feel that way is because the Northeast is facing a security challenge at this time. If Jonathan was the president of Nigeria when the militants were fighting in the Niger Delta, the issue would have escalated because he would have no idea how to deal with it. You know, and it's terrible that anybody could actually think of Yar'Adua as a good president when he too was totally useless.
All right, before we go back to the callers, and I want to ask you, do you speak the same language with Jonathan? I mean, is there any language that the Ijo people speak?
No. If the Ijos meet today at the conference, they have to speak English.
Because they don't.
Because there's no one Ijo language.
Okay. Because I would have recommended that maybe when next time he wants to talk, he will speak Ijo and you translate or somebody, because it may be more effective than English.
I don't know if the guy knows how to speak Ijo very well. So.
All right. Now, there's a question. I will ask this on behalf of people because I see this question all over the web. They say things like, why is it that SaharaReporters doesn't say anything good about the president? Can you give an answer to that? That is always reporting bad things about the president.
No, that's not true. As a matter of fact, the president sends their press releases to us. We use them.
Which is good news.
Yeah, when they have things to announce, we are one of the people they go to. And so the thing is that SaharaReporters' position from day one is that we would shine the light on the dark corners of government. So our job is not to do what NTA does, which is lie 24/7. We've made it clear, and that's what we've always done, is to make sure that we out people who are perpetrating corruption within the government, people who are dragging Nigeria down and back. So the president's office is the #1 position in the country that is responsible for making things work. And they're also the #1 people who don't make things work. So SaharaReporters does a good job of exposing that. But, you know, there are times that the president is about to make decisions that we catch it first and we report it. You know, sometimes there are decisions that people even praise the president for, and we're the first to report it. Now, nobody accuses us of not saying anything good about the president. But bottom line is that for us to see something good in the president, he has to do something good And I think the preponderance of opinion around Nigeria and beyond today is that the president is not doing well at all.
Now, let me ask another question for viewers, and that is when they talk about basically SaharaReporters is online,
yes.
The TV is online,
yeah.
and in Nigeria, a lot of regular people who are not in the cities, they don't still have access to the internet. The way people abroad, they have access to the internet, even to watch TV shows. So is there any plan in the future to make sure, because if the message is getting to fewer people and the majority of people are still not opportune to see what is going on or what is being reported, to get this to reach other people who may not have access to the internet?
Oh, we're doing that. I mean, right now, if you're in... First, let me say that majority of our traffic now comes from Nigeria, which means more and more people have bought into our style of reporting. And we're reaching out to more people. Our goal is to reach people on their mobile networks. And Nigeria, fortunately, has a huge concentration of mobile cell phones. There are over 100 million Nigerians with cell phones. And some of the best cell phones in the world are based in Nigeria. Like you could see Rufai in that movie. He could answer his phone with his wristwatch. I never knew that existed until I got to Nigeria. And a lot of them carry really very expensive smartphones. So, but recently also we got on MTN. So MTN, with some subscription, you can get our news, the next day on MTN. But we're trying, every day to use other ways of reaching people. I think Nigerians are very, very tech savvy, and more and more people are making sure that they get what we have. But true, when I was in Nigeria, it was a challenge to watch this show. Because that we don't have any power over. And I've always believed, and I honestly believe, that the future of the media is digital. Physical newspapers are fading out. In Nigerian newspapers, there are some newspapers that used to distribute up to 130,000 copies, even 500,000 copies a day. All of them combined today cannot boast of 200,000 copies a day, because people rely on BBM, WhatsApp, and other digital platforms to get their news. So that's where we want to be, and we're working on it. We're working on it. So many of these things we have no control over, but I think a lot more people, especially in Nigeria when I was there, are now receiving our news.
All right, we don't have a lot of time to go through each of you to ask questions, but let me ask anybody who, if you think you have a very important question about the trip, about SaharaReporters,
yes.
Tell me your name. Okay, it wouldn't work. All of you will speak at the same time. Okay, Yemi, what do you have?
Yemi's not here.
Okay, Yemi is gone. Olufemi, you have a question?
Yeah, Sowore, if you have to give advice, I don't want to say one advice. If you have to advise President Jonathan today, like maybe 3, 4, 5 advice, what would those be?
I'll just tell him, Mr. President, you've tried, you failed. Just go back to Otueke, your village, and just leave Nigeria alone. It will be a very, very simple one advice. I don't need to give 5.
Okay, Olufemi, we have to stop you, so I'll get other people to have a chance.
I'm serious about it.
Ejike.
Let me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ejike, you have a question?
I don't have much question anymore.
Okay, thank you. Call it Joe.
Hello?
No, wait, I'm coming to you. Call it Joe.
I'd actually like to hear from my friend Ebi,
Ebi is not with us.
Oh,
Ebi.
he's not with us.
Ebi is gone. All right.
Hello?
Yeah, call it Joe. You have a question for Sowore?
The question I have for sure is, you see, if he gets an offer from any media in Nigeria to air the key Sahara programs like Dr. Damages and Keeping It Real, is he going to accept it?
Because we would love to, absolutely. We would love to see,
Okay.
but we doubt that any one of them have the balls to take those two shows.
Yeah,
we've tried it. We've tried it with Channels Television. They kind of dodged us, and so we don't have a lot of options. But my belief is that people are on their own looking for these shows. I was surprised. Everybody who saw me was like, "Oh, Dr. Damages." I was like, "What about me?" Yeah, I think I need a show too. But, on a serious note, people are seeking out the shows on their own. And, people will download because in Nigeria, the internet is so poor that you can't watch. So they will take time, download it, and watch it during the week.
Oh, Ebi is back.
Oh, maybe, okay.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello, is Goje?
Okay, no, I want to hear from Michael. Michael,
I'm not, okay.
Michael, do you have a question?
I want to know his opinion about the conference that will be held in some couple of days and what he feels will come out of it.
Nothing will come out of it, and I'm not trying to be. I wanted to prove me wrong. It will be the first time I'll be wrong, and I will love it. Nothing will come out of it. It's another jamboree. You know, if you're invited, you should go. You just to hang out in the nice hotels, eat good food. Jonathan is known for setting up committees, and when their recommendation comes in, they don't suit him. You know, he goes to the dustbin. Nigeria has never had a problem with conferences anyway. Every government that comes into power uses conferences to divert attention. Even Abacha did it, Babangida did his own. Obasanjo did, you know. So, yeah, we're applying our own too.
All right, Hansen, any question?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is that, to be sincere, you guys are doing a good job. But I saw you in a picture with Sanusi. I was thinking that maybe the money that the federal government are accusing of, so maybe you are the one that are taking it.
Yeah, it's no, I don't know Sanusi before. In fact, I was doing my job on that day. I enjoyed the fact that we were the first to bring to you what he had to say. My feeling was that the federal government didn't. The reason they are after Sanusi is because of the money they stole at the NNPC. It's nothing. I have no doubt. If you've read our website very well, we've written a lot of critical reports about Sanusi's handling of central bank. We've written, investigative reports. If you go to SaharaReporters in the document section, we have downloaded the documents about his sexual escapades. So you cannot accuse us of being a pro-Sanusi person. But on this issue of his being suspended, it has nothing to do with his recklessness at the central bank. He told me, and the government hasn't denied it, that most of the projects that they were accusing him of spending money, they were the ones who asked him to do it, including spending 2 billion naira, I think, in providing gadgets at the presidential villa. So those kind of intervention funds, they are the ones who encourage him to do it. They bring the contractors. So the reason I went to be at the airport was to actually hear him say the reason why he thought he was removed. And that is available, I've said it and I'll say it again for those of you for you to understand. I have never received a bribe to do what I do, and I will never receive a bribe. That is my own commitment. If I've ever received a bribe, or we've never received a bribe here, you would have heard it. Somebody would have told somebody. And our books are pretty open. We fund everything we do here in the way that we explained to you. If we wanted a bribe, all of us would have retired by now, a long time ago. But there has to be a media that doesn't collect bribe, and we're happy that we can do it. And I know that some people don't believe it because if they were in our position, they would be very rich. But we are comfortable with our poverty and a good conscience.
All right. Is there anybody else who has a question? Otherwise, I'll round up.
Yeah.
Who are you? Tell me your name.
Goji.
Okay, hold on. Goji. All right, go ahead.
No, my question is, what plan do you have in your platform to improve the unity of Nigerians? Because I believe disunity alongside with corruption is a major problem of this country. So do you have any plans through your platform to improve the unity of North, South, Muslim, Christian in Nigeria?
No, we don't have any plans to do that. It's not our job. But let me say the reason why people unite around the world is not because there's a plan for it. It's because people get justice. And it's from justice that peace comes and unity and all other things that you hear about. If the U.S. today were to be in poverty, if there's widespread corruption, people don't have electricity in a cold weather that is like 26 degrees below zero, there won't be unity. But because at least there's a sense of justice that people work, they get paid, the officials don't steal monies meant for their roads.
And if you steal, you
go to jail. There's a sense of justice. People, New York is the most diverse place in the world. That's where we are today. If you step out of the street in New York, your next friend could be from Palestine, and the next person will be from Kyrgyzstan, and the next person will be from Zimbabwe, And they're not fighting themselves. Nobody is walking around with machete trying to kill the other person because, there's accommodation where there's justice. So that's the job of the National Rotation Agency. So you should.
And let me add that people forget that in America there are over 50 separatist movements. People who've been fighting for generations to break away from America. They are not armed, but they have that policy. But why they are not getting any traction is because the country is working for many people.
As a matter of fact, there are those who are armed.
Yeah, okay.
There are some guys in Idaho who are armed.
Yeah, but they are not
going
going
And when Obama won the election, you remember, there was a group that started a petition that they want to break away in Texas.
Yeah, in Texas, exactly.
Yeah,
I wanted to say that.
Away because
things are working for a lot of people. I understand that Debode just joined us. So Debode, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so what question do you have for Sowore?
Yeah, sure.
There is a guy that has been here that want to talk, and you not
Okay, hold on. After Debode, I will get to the person. I don't know the name. I can't say. Who?
It's Hyson that wanted to talk.
Okay, Hyson. Okay, Debode, go ahead first. Debode, go ahead.
Yeah, Sowore, I really want to commend you for the job you've been doing.
Go ahead.
But I have one comment, and the comment is simple. Going back to our student days, we used this so-called student aluta continuum spirit that we used to have during the military era. We still have that spirit, which I think, most students still have that spirit, and including you, the way you are moving your Sahara Reporter, you still have that spirit, which I think is not really ideal in a democratic setting. What I mean is that, yes, there are a lot of flaws in government, but if you can come up with reports of how the flaws have been done and give us constructive correction to such situation, rather than just giving us, let us go into revolution. Are you telling us to go back to the state Egypt is today for more than 3 years? Or other countries, Tunisia or Libya? Is there peace there today? But I think as you are bringing out all these flaws, please give us the corrective answers also. Thank you.
Well, I hear this all the time with due respect to you, and I know what that you're expressing yourself. I'm also expressing myself as to how this could work. But let me be very, very clear. I make some very, very direct submission about how to correct flaws. The solution to corruption is anti-corruption, right? The solution to bad roads is to fix them. The solution to bad hospitals is to build the ones that function, right? The solution to bad schools is to provide facilities and amenities for students to go to school. The solutions to all the things we bring out are there. The solution to insecurity is security. It might sound very, very simplistic, but that's the truth. If you commit a crime on the streets of New York today, the only reason why people are afraid to commit crime is not because Americans are law-abiding, by the way. It's because they know the police will come after them. It will be very swift, and people will go about their normal business. But you can imagine, with due respect, that some militants went to a high school in Yobe and operated from 12 midnight till 3 a.m. and nobody stopped them, and they killed 60 students. And the next morning we write a story about it, we bring out the pictures, and it happens in Adamawa the following day. And you are still accusing me of not providing solutions to the problem. The solution is there. This is part of the story we wrote that we feel bad about this. We've just reported this evening that a bomb exploded in Maiduguri and it killed a lot of people. And we're spending thousands and thousands and millions of dollars on security, and somebody is embezzling them. You heard about the embezzlement at the NNPC. My solution to it is to not steal anymore. Is to take the guys who stole the money, try them, and put them in jail and throw the keys into the Atlantic Ocean so that nobody does that again. You do that. You come on our show. You make all these recommendations, but nobody's listening. So don't be worried about what is happening in Egypt or Tunisia or Libya. One thing I can tell you is that those countries will never be the same again. And when revolutions happen, they do not materialize overnight. China had a revolution, what they call their cultural revolution in the 70s. It is now that China is actually benefiting from that cultural revolution. The problem we have in Nigeria is that nobody wants to wait to build anything. We want, instant gratification. We don't want to build political parties. We don't want to build countries. We don't want to build our conscience. We don't want to build our ability to fight. So anytime you then see somebody who says, let's do it differently, you say, oh, he's too much in a hurry, he doesn't provide solution. What better solution could we have than the platform that we created from the scratch here, where you're speaking on? My brother, you cannot get on NTA to say what you are saying on Sahara Reporters. You can't even get on channels or AIT today. So we have created alternatives and created a lot of solutions, and we just need to keep building on it and not to be afraid. If where you are today, people didn't fight for freedom and liberty and liberation in those places, you won't be able to have even the technology you have today.
Let me add, because I hear that too, because I'm a columnist. I hear that issue about solutions. In addition to what you said, I think most readers sometimes of Sahara Reporters, they confuse news from editorial and from columns and opinions of people. So for instance, a newspaper, we publish the news, and the news is news. This is what is happening. Now, most newspapers in Nigeria, they have editorial page, editorial column, where they now say, this is the position of the paper. The Punch is saying this. The Vanguard is saying this. That is the position of the paper. That is where, if the paper if they have solutions to whatever problem is going on in the country, they offer that solution there. Okay? But the thing is that I think our people are confusing the news. The news is not supposed to come with a solution. The news is supposed to be news. And the solution will come from editorial if the paper cares. But it's not the job of the reporters to tell you the solution. Their job is to tell you the story. This is what is happening. You have a lot of think tanks and committees that could come up with solutions. But that's just an addition. We have to round up. I want to go to Hansen. Hansen, I know you've been waiting.
No, it's not me. It's Hael.
Oh, okay. Hans. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
So now you can talk, Mr. Hael.
Mr. Hines, okay, go ahead. Ask a question you want to ask. All right.
I don't think. I think we lost him.
Okay, someone else.
Yeah.
Yes, someone else. Who is the last person you mentioned now?
Raphael.
Raphael.
Talk.
That's me. Can I speak?
Raphael, go ahead.
Okay. Wow. Finally. Well, anyway, I want to commend.
Okay, whoever has their live stream up.
I think you have your live stream up. You want to put that up first, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Who do we drop? Okay.
Mr. Sowore.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Sowore, I want to commend you. I mean, I think you're doing. You're doing a very good job. I mean, I know you're very, very. Okay, you're very, very underrated. You know, I mean, the amount of work you put in, it's like, you know, people back home, they don't really appreciate the kind of work you do. I mean, you put in so much work, and I think, I mean, somebody like you might be what the country really needs. To be honest, I mean, I see the work you put in, and I admire you so much. I mean, I live in Dallas, you know, but I keep up with, you know, most of your work. I follow you, you know, and, you know, I definitely commend you. But anyway, my question is, okay, I remember seeing you with, what was this guy's name? The minister of Abuja one time, you know, that was with Sanusi, you know, when you went back.
El-Rufai.
Yeah, I mean, El-Rufai. You know, I mean, somebody like you, I mean, if you really should decide to get into politics, you know, I mean, you really, you know, I mean, I see you being very, very successful. But the only problem that I do have is that, to be honest, I think we need somebody who would get into politics. And I mean, if you've been ministers in the past, if you're governor in the past, you know, I mean, if you've been president in the past, bring all those guys to book or charge them. They should answer question. They should answer question about their activities in politics in the past. But anyway, what I would like to see more about you is for you to hang out with, you know, people that haven't really have like bad, you know, I mean, people with not really like bad past or bad experience or people who the public dislike.
Okay, Raphael, thank you so much.
Raphael is very. I understand what you're trying to say. You know, somehow people didn't understand that I wasn't with Erufai. Some of you, I went to the airport to cover the arrival of Sanusi, and we have produced videos, 3 of them that you can see that shows transparently what happened there, including the fact that I was meeting him for the first time. Let me explain to you that you know, some of the things we are doing now are going to become part of history in the future. So not only are we doing this for ourselves, we're doing it for history, and we're doing it for the future. When I was growing up, and I want to use this instance to finalize our talk today, it was a crime to listen to Fela's music, because everybody said Fela was smoking dope and he was smoking marijuana, he was a bad person. It took a long time for people to appreciate Fela. Most people appreciated Fela after he died, you know, and the things that he said and saying, you know, the prophetic songs he sang are still there. Same thing with Bob Marley. You know, when he was around, he wasn't very popular in Jamaica. You know, people didn't like him because at one time he went and held the hand of 2 politicians and said, you know, they want peace. But when they die, they appreciate. I don't know if I'm interested in politics. I don't think Nigeria has room for people who are interested in progressive politics. And that's why I'm more in favor of something that will shake up the place first and foremost. I would like to lend myself to the revolutionary process before thinking about politics. But just understand that this is our own very small contribution to building our country, to making sure that people are liberated, people are well informed, to ensuring that people don't get away with the kind of impunity that happens in power today. If the kind of gap that we filled in the last 7 years that we've been doing this, I think it's something that would be appreciated only later. But you know, again, we don't have to be arrogant about it. We are not the only ones doing it. We do this with the help of all of you. You know, if you're not there, if the guys who give us information are not there, even if some of the journalists who inform us or who help us verify information are not there, we won't be as successful as, you know, we are claimed to be today. So again, humbly, I'm grateful to all of you. And finally, to those of you who say we are not doing enough, just do what we did 7 years ago. Start your own website, you know, start your own news service. It's not rocket science. We would like to see 10 Sahara reporters, and there will be no more hiding place for all the BMW buyers in the country.
All right, we have to stop it here. I want to thank all the people that joined us. I think this is a very good thing that we did, and maybe we should do this every quarter. We get you in here to take questions from viewers, and also we can also get some of the characters that are on Sahara Reporters on Sahara TV to come here and take questions, because I know most of you are looking for the opportunity to talk back to some of these.
And by the way, you know, we interview the likes of Doyo Kupe, Abati, and people don't accuse us of working for the president. So everybody has.
That's a good
us,
point, because we try to. People don't know that we try to get Lagos State Governor to come here every day. Buhari, everybody in power. There's nobody that we are not trying to get to come on TV,
including Jonathan.
And of course, speaking of Jonathan, we've been trying, and they promised us that he will come, and we hope one day we'll get a chance to have him here.
To come on Sahara.
Come here, and then all of you who are watching, who are joining us, we have the chance to ask him questions the way we just did now, which should be something simple. Yeah. All right, but we're out of time. I really want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for coming here. And we will continue. Remember, coming up next.
I brought Gary from
Gary. All right, did you? Okay, very good. Suya, what about Suya? Now, next, we are going to show you Dr. Damages, Keeping It Real, and all the rest of our shows. Thank you.